How's it going, internets? I hope you're having a lovely day. It's that time again. It's time to get into some animation. It's time to get that creativity all flowing. And time to get into that imagination. And it's time to get inspired. And today's inspiration comes from Phillip Craig Russell. If you're not familiar with his work, check right over here. He's worked on Conan, Buffy, Star Wars, Batman, just a number of great things. He's a phenomenal inkist, I guess would be a good word. Illustrator and creative mind as well, but I think his inks, the way that he does his line work, is just beautiful style. So I'll just share a couple of little images here from him that I think, like I said, he's got a really creative mind, and I love his choice of color, his layout, his form, just his grasp on anatomy, and I like it. And we talk about this a lot about really understanding those fundamentals. And once you understand basics of balance and form and perspective and anatomy and all that stuff, then you can start getting really creative, because you can take those basics and put it into like this fly creature here. You know, it's got good posing, it's strong, it's balanced, it's an interesting silhouette overall, and you can blend all that stuff and be creative on top of that. But that takes a while to learn how to make, you know, a bent leg in that perspective, and to know to shade that because of the way that the lighting is hitting and all of that. So definitely you can tell someone's a master of their craft when they can sell the unexplainable or the unimaginable beautifully, because they understand the real world in a great way. So definitely check out his work. I will link to more down below. I think the more that I look at his stuff, I just get blown away with the preciseness in his line work, but yet the flow that he has. That's something that is difficult to master, because a lot of times as you tighten up your work so that there's less grit in your line work or in your posing or anything, you lose a little bit of that life. But I feel like in his work, you get that rigid, harsh, really perfected line, but still keep all that life that's in there in each and every drawing. And I think that's a great goal or thing to shoot for in your work. Again, each and every piece of his, I love this one too. It's just marvelous. Check out the description below. I'll throw some more stuff if you guys want to learn more about him. But I wanted to share a quote with you guys from him. And they were talking about, it was an interview that he did, and he was talking about he was kind of self-taught, and then he's been in the industry for a long time, so they wanted to say, like, how do you continue to get better? And he said that I just seem to like the competition with myself. And I think even for people starting out, that sometimes that's where you have to look, is, okay, there's a lot of people out there doing the things that I like to do, or the things that I'm passionate about, but and they might be better or they might be worse, but it's not about saying, oh, I'm so much better than that guy, or oh, I'm never going to be as good as this guy, or any of that kind of stuff. It's about, are you going to be dedicated? Are you going to push yourself? Are you going to see growth in yourself? There's a Confucius quote that I'm going to get wrong, but it's something to the effect of, it's not about how big of a change you make, but that you continue to move forward. Something to that effect. And I think that's, I'm butchering it, but I think that's kind of the goal here, is to just continue to push yourself and to try and grow each and every day in whatever it is that you're passionate about, because then even if you've hit that great renowned level, you can still have something more to strive for, and you're not going to get complacent or lose that passion or lose that fire, because you're always going to try to push yourself further, and it doesn't matter what the rest of the world's doing. So that being said, let's go ahead and get into some animation. This is the Moom rig version 3. We did use this rig yesterday, but we just looked at the bottom half, so I figured I really liked the way that rig was working. So let's go ahead and do an animation of just the top half. And that way, it is still a rig that I haven't used this part of, but I will link to it down in the description below. And if you're not familiar with what we'll be doing for the rest of this video, is we give ourselves 48 frames. It's 2 seconds of animation, and I go off and I find a rig that I've never used before. It's a free resource for you guys to play around with, and we kind of go from there. A little bit of instruction or guidance or talking through the process, a little bit of just hanging out with me while I animate. And overall, the main goal of these videos is to encourage and inspire you guys to go off and create your own worlds or concepts or ideas or songs or music or sculptures or whatever it is that you guys are creative in, whatever it is you're passionate about. And if you do, definitely share it down below so that I can give you some encouragement and feedback, or just pat on the back. And but I hope you guys are just doing that. I mean, that's, for me, it's really, really important. I think there's not a lot of ways that an individual can affect change, but in the society that we live in right now, we're at a very lucky, almost a new Renaissance era, and one way to do that is to become a person who's going to strive to get better every day and push yourself. And so I hope that you guys get that, whether you think the animation that we do is awesome and amazing, or you think you can do better, or what the concepts that we talk about that you disagree, or any of that kind of stuff, but just that you use your brain and you think and you use that imagination that's uniquely yours, and you go out and you do something with it and you share it with people and you learn and you grow, and that you just don't get complacent. But anyways, I'm getting preachy today, so let's go ahead and get into some animation here for the day. If you've been following along for the month of November, we've been doing Jump-vember, which is a jump animation every day for the month of November, and we're going to continue that as well. I think we'll do a jump up today, though. So let's do something a little different. Let's do from a jump there to grabbing onto a pole here. I'm going to do a little bit of swing. That could be kind of fun. So let's go minus 90 degrees on that. Go here, go there. Let's go ahead and shrink it up. Let's stretch it out sideways. There. This way we get something a little bit different. And let's go ahead and move these two forward a little bit. And let's bring those hands down, just kind of create a more interesting starting pose to go with. And bring that over. Let's bend this down a little bit. I really like the older version of this Moom rig. It's really, really kind of a flexible rig. I really appreciate it whenever there's a good free rig out there, because I think that's important. There's a lot of rigs out there that I would say are probably more aesthetically interesting, but as far as one that's going to lead to good animation, I feel like this Moom rig is probably in my top 10 of free rigs that are available out there, for sure, if not in my top 5. The more I use it. And I would say the V3 for myself is a more interesting rig than the more current version. For some reason, I didn't feel like that one was so worked as well. I guess would be the word. Or so robust in its abilities. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze here real quick. Okay, sorry about that. I usually get a little nervous pausing the recording because sometimes it stops it. So, but looks like we're fine. And let's go ahead and do a little bit of. Isn't there another on other controller? Let's do turn it on. And this was like a finger controller here, I believe. So let's do pinky 1. A little bit. So we can have a little, just trying to get a more interesting pose to start off with. And let's see, pointer, blue, pointer 3 down there. Maybe a little more pointer 2. Okay, I feel like that works pretty good. It feels pretty balanced. So let's go ahead and save our file. And we are using Autodesk Maya 2014 for today's video. And if you want more information about that, always have a link in the description below, along with some great resources if you guys want some further reading on what I think are the amazing animation Bibles that every animator and every kind of visual artist should really give at least an opportunity to read. I think it'll help expand your visual library a little more. So let's go ahead and start here. Okay, I grabbed everything, set our first frame, made sure we only had our NURB curves, NURB surfaces, and polygons selected so that we don't key anything we don't need to. And let's do a little bit of an anticipation here. So let's go ahead and rotate that back a little bit. Just kind of compressing this a little bit before it goes anywhere. Maybe we'll bring the head down a little bit. And we'll do a little more up on these shoulders. Okay, maybe not. Seems like those shoulder controllers aren't really that great. So let's see. Maybe we can do a little bit of translate. No, I'll leave that one. Okay. We'll just go from there. And again, go and key that. And then we'll do our big move here. And up. Change of shape in the body here. Get that hand up and over. Go ahead and do this one a little bit lower here. Have it drag a little bit more. We'll build in that little bit of drag here. Interesting pose to start with here. From the elbow right up there. Bring it up a little bit more. Out. And drag that neck a little more. It's always good to try and build into each pose your drag and your overlap and all that kind of stuff as you're going, so that you don't have to, you get a good starting point for when you're going in through watching the animation and moving it and tweaking it more and more. So it's a little more of the pose-to-pose method of animation versus the straight ahead. But I always find that you want to build in as much as you can if you're doing more the pose-to-pose variety of your animation while you're going, rather than just find oh, this is a cool pose, but you want to be thinking, well, how is this pose going to animate while doing it? So you want to kind of build in your drags and your reverse angling on spine and all that kind of stuff. And then as you get in, you're going to be watching it and doing some more tweaking and everything with the posing, but you want to keep that stuff in mind while you're doing that. So we're going to his thumb set up, but we'll try and get some good posing out of it if we can. And on this one, go ahead and build in a little more. Okay, it's fairly interesting. Broken up pose. We don't have anything really tangenting. We don't really have anything mimicking side to side. We've got some variation between the two sides. So we'll go ahead and lock that one in. And again, we're just kind of laying down a real rough timing and a rough posing pass that we can tweak as we go. We'll go ahead and get this. Did that up over. And let's get that thumb. Okay, bring that down a little bit. And get the thumb tip in there a little bit. Try and get it to get a good grip on there. That's fairly good. And let's get the pinky down here, down there, down there. Let's zero that out. See if we can do something a little better. Turn it there, and bring that up there. Let's go ahead and tweak that. We just want to get a good pose so we can sell that it's gripped on there. It's important, otherwise it's going to feel off. And go ahead and do that. Feels pretty good. Now, unlike what I was saying earlier, I'm not going to build in as much drag right now, just because I want to get a rough pass on these hands, so I'm probably going to delay this pinky or this index a little bit more, so it's not going to hit all at the same time, but again, this is just kind of a rough first pass. I really want to get those hand poses locked in there. And again, let's go ahead and get this one a little more honed in there. Let's get that pinky out. That's okay. feels a little more natural. Again, this thumb isn't built exactly the way that I would probably approach it, but it is a very capable thumb. So that's nice. And what I mean by that is it's very manipulatable. Yeah, that's a word, sure. So that's good. You can get the posing that you want, even though it's not really laid out as natural as like a normal thumb would be. Here. Just go pull that back a little bit, up a little bit, rotate like that. Okay, so we've got. Okay, let's make sure we key that there. Let's go to 20. Let's go to 30. Bring that. Rotate it out that way. Rotate it this way, and this is that for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction type of thinking here. Something that's more like this. Bring that to 38. Hang down. And then find something kind of like this. And again, this isn't going to be maybe our exact posing, but it'll give us a rough idea so we can do kind of some recoil. Okay, real rough, but I think the idea is there. So let's get in there and let's start tweaking it here. Not back as far. And give me about 60 frames to deal with that in. And let me find a good one that's kind of a ending resting pose here that we can get into. It's really just a fairly straight hang to make it feel like there's weight there. Now I do kind of want to tweak these hand poses a little bit more and let them slide so the wrists aren't so broken, because right now they're like that and I want to make them a little more flat. So that is something I'm going to approach as well, but it's not as important as locking in our timing and kind of our main posing. Okay. So we got it, swings there. Swings. Okay, this is where it's about time to start opening up our graph editor, which is surprising. Kind of a longer time to go without using the graph editor so far. So you want that to hit pretty quick. And this could be about frame. This could be about another frame. You just kind of look as it's slowing down. You want to get that slow down feeling. I'll hit that about there. this was a pose that we want to end on. So we want to end here. Let's make sure we lock in this. And then we can keep tweaking. It's rough, but that's a lot better than what we were looking at before. Okay, so let's first look at our translate Y's here. And I'm going to move this down to the other monitor just so that I can want that to be down. Just up here, up here. So we want to keep these arms feeling pretty straight. As soon as we get out of those straight, we lose a lot of weight there. So let's go and pull that down. Forward about a frame. Still pretty rough. This needs to be further down. Be a little bit up. This is an up. That's an up. Sit down. That's an up. Okay, let's try cleaning this up a lot more. Let's see what we can do. Set that, delete that one, set that, delete that, set that. So let's go ahead and look at it now. Okay, let's look at our rotate X's for all these, make sure they all look about right. Which I'm guessing there's going to be some jankiness in. Oop, don't want to do that. Rotate X, rotate X, rotate X. I'm just got to clean this up so we get the grit out of there. see. Forward there. Back there. Probably have to go back a little bit more. Forward there. Back a little bit more. Okay, I think we need to do a couple more of those. So let's actually go 120. Again, let's go ahead and key that. And we want to go to about 66. Make that our 95. Make this again our ending. Take 71 and put that about there. So we still want to slow everything down as it's going. Okay, let's look at that now. Okay, it's starting to get there. So let's look at what's hiccuping here. We've got, this is where we start. We hit like 22 to 30, so that's 8. So then we go from 30 to 40, that's 10, okay. Then we go from 40. Let's go 12, so I'll go, that's 52. And let's go 14 frames, so this should be from 52 to 66. Okay, so let's move that back to 66, and this will just keep slowing everything down. And then let's go 16 frames from there, so that would be 92, I think. Or, sorry, 82. And then, so let's watch that now. To 18 frames, so that'll be 90, 100. The next one, that'll go 20 frames till we get back. Actually, 140. Wait, it really slows down. Okay, let's look at the up and down on the translate Y here. We got 52 to 66, so that's 14, so it should be 7 frames. So it should be a 59. And then we've got, what is that? We said 18 frames there, so it should be 9 frames before that, so it should be 73. It doesn't have to be exactly even, but we like to have a good formula here. larger spacing and littler values to get that. So let's see if that works a little better. Now right here, something funky happens. I think it's the translate Y here, so let's look at the translate Y. Feels like it's too high, so let's lower that. This needs to be lower, I think. And it needs to be lower as well. Should still be down more here. Should be up there. Down here. Maybe we'll just delete that, cut it a little bit. It's not as strong. 52 to 66. It's 14 frames, so that should hit at 59. Needs to be down lower. focus on that. We'll go back and we'll go somewhere else. We'll try and get a different, fresh set of eyes on there. So let's focus on this part here. We'll get that working better, and then we'll come back to polishing that up as we go. So let's hold those for 2 more frames. Fingers too. And actually, let's go ahead and key them there. And then we'll do the lift off here, which is important. Frame to get right here. So we can get them peeling off. Take the elbow down here. We can go ahead and drag that hand a little bit more. We don't want it to be too on the camera. Do something like that. Go ahead and lift it up here, back a little more. And we'll let it hit 1 frame sooner. And I'm just gonna, you know what? I'm gonna set my frame range so I don't look at anything past 65 for right now, because that's just distracting me. Sometimes it's good to just get away from an area that you're not quite nailing down yet. And that's part of why I do this series with you guys, and I do it live and let all of the dirt and grit and frustration and everything that doesn't go right in and include it in there, because I think it's important to see when things work and when things don't. So. Okay, I think that's a better pose, but let's go ahead and hit it about 24. just have started to peel off there. Set that. I'm going to tweak this one. Set that. Delete that. Let's go turn it a little bit more. It's a little, maybe too stretched out there, so let's go ahead and bring it up a little more. And we'll drag it back a little bit too, so it'll have kind of slipped off there. And let's make sure we're not having it intersect through there. Six, seven, eight. I want to get there, so I want to have this be up, out, probably back a little bit more. Okay, so let's look at the translate Y here, and our translate Z. Make sure those arcs are a little bit better. Okay, and let's look at our translate Y here. Set that. Have this one be even lower. Actually, look at our translate Y here. So we want to kind of undershoot that a little bit. Let's see. It does feel like it's a little floaty, so maybe we'll try and see if we can cut a frame out of here as well. What did I not select there when I retimed everything? so much better now. I'm glad I tweaked the timing a little bit out there. Still feels like it's probably a little too stretchy on those arms, so let's look at the translate Z here. Let's look at the translate Y on this hand. Let's go ahead and bring it down a little bit more. Just don't want that arm to feel so stretched. Look at this pose in particular. I feel like these hands are too stretched. So let's grab both of those. Loosen that a little more. each hand's readable. Too stretched. Hit that. Delete that. This could be even further up and back there. Let's look at it now. There, his hands are a little more readable now. Now let's start cleaning that up a little bit. A little bit of a longer video, I guess this one's going to be today. Definitely had a little bit more cleanup, but I think we finally got something that's going to work for us. So we'll just keep our silhouettes nice and clean. Keep our movement fairly clean as well. Get a nice arc in there. So get the finger, set that pinky up there. I'll set that on there. Let's do a little more drag here on the fingers. Set that one later. And we'll go swing it back up. Let's look at it now. Let's get that thumb out a little bit more. And let's look at the pinky. Set that there. Really clamp it down. A lot more there. Zoom in here. just so we get a little bit of rock in that wrist as well. Feels pretty good. Let's put about 47 and about 65, just so we don't completely pixel lock off there. Again, it's pretty small amounts of movement there, but at least it's something. Okay, and let's look at the other wrist here. I'll take 26, put it about 2 more frames back. Take 32, put that about 40. Take 38, put that about 54. Take 41, put that about 65. Okay. Should give us a little bit of rock in there. We need to do a little bit more on the reset off. Doesn't feel like it's enough. There we go, that feels about right. 36, about 54. 46, about 65. Okay. Seeing this, just tracking this again, seeing if we can get a little bit of better arc. Let's look at the fingers here. 7, 28. Let's go ahead and grab this and extend them out here. Now I feel like this is too much on here. So let's just delete that. Delete that. Just tone it down by about a frame's worth of values there per. Again, we'll just do that again. Just cut out about 1 frame's worth of value. And go back to the timing we had. I feel like that worked fine. Let's go ahead and save our file here. And go about -10. I need a few more frames to start here too. file. I'm going to save this as an alternate version here just in case something corrupts. And then see if we can't get that maybe 1 frame less in the landing on that jump. It just feels like it's a little too floaty. Now, one thing that usually you do if I'm going to cut a frame is you like kind of build a dam where you grab everything and you key it, like let's say it's on 5, and then you grab everything and you key it, and let's say it's on 10. And that way you know that you can go back to 5 and 10, and those ones are walled off with the animation you like. And then if you adjust a frame here and there, you know that you're still going to continue on with everything that's good after 10 and everything before 5. So you kind of want to build that little bit of a dam, but I kind of tweaked those curves already, so that's kind of maybe an approach that I don't want to do, but that's normally how I would do it. So let's see. So we want to cut in about probably 18. Just cut that out. So if we grabbed, go ahead and delete everything that I have on 18 there, just delete it. And then take everything here, 18, and just push it 1 frame forward. And hopefully that should still stay with everything that we like. Okay, cool. Feels a little bit heavier. It was feeling a little too floaty, too long in the air that the hang time was for. There's one problem we've got now, which is this right there. So let's go back. I can't. Maybe I'll see if I can cut it from this side by pushing forward a frame here. Let's just frame through it again, trying to avoid that. Okay. And let's look at our hands again, make sure. Yeah, let's watch it. There's a little bit of a pop in those elbows, but I can work around it. Okay, let's go ahead and save everything. I feel like that worked. We got that extra frame cut out there. Probably still a little bit floatier than I normally would. Probably tighten it up 1 more frame, but I feel like it works. But the weight should probably be a little bit more. But I think we sell the weight on the recoil pretty well, and the lift off, that the little bit of evenness through that jump is okay. It's not perfect, but the arc's pretty good. The spacing is just probably could be a little bit tighter. But we've already got a lot of this working, and we're probably over an hour, if not for sure over an hour by now. So the only other thing that I really kind of want to play around with here is, let's go ahead and set the eye controller here. I'm going to bring it down there. Over here. Up there. And bring it forward. It's not going to be perfect, but just so it doesn't just because I think it works as the eyes just being these big balls rather than having that little dot in there. It's just kind of distracting. And again, if we wanted to do some more facial animation and really get in there, then that'd be another pass. But I think with kind of our this beginning's still a little janky. Let's see if we can tweak it up a little bit more. It's going to take one and bring it to get a couple more frames there. Set that. So we get a little more of a hold there. It's a little better than kind of so even like it was before. Let's make sure, again, we pull that back just to get them out of the way so it's not distracting. If we're not going to do a good pass on there, we don't want to leave something in there just to have it be kind of bad. Just take it out. Keep it simple, stupid. That's a good motto I always try and remember. Alright, so I think that'll do it for today. Definitely we could spend another hour, if not longer, doing some more overlap and drag and polishing things up, but I think the ideas come across, and we got a little better animation since we offset the timing on those hips a little bit more towards the recoil in the end and kind of cleaned up some of that stuff, so I think that worked out great. So let's take a look back at where we started. We were looking at the beautiful work of Phillip Craig Russell, and he said, I just seem to like the competition with myself, and I think that's very important to not get passive and to keep things fresh and to keep things new and to keep always challenging yourself and not getting down by comparing yourselves to others or getting full of yourself by comparing yourself to others or any of that kind of stuff, but really keep it inward and keep that competition with yourself, and that'll no matter where you go, you'll always have that drive because it's built in within you. So thanks again for watching. I love you guys lots. Thanks for all the likes and subscribes. Hope you guys are enjoying the series. We're kind of wrapping up another week or so of Jumpvember. So hopefully you guys at least try to jump animation out this month and challenge yourself to do that. And if you did, definitely share it down below. If you're watching this, you guys are the creative future, and I believe in you. And I hope that you're doing your best each and every day to push yourself. And I think that'll do it for today. A little bit of a longer one, had a little bit of probably too long that we spent playing around with those hips, but sometimes you gotta keep tweaking something until it works, and I think we finally got something that works. I don't know if it's perfect. Well, I know it's not perfect, but at least it's workable at this point. So at this point I'm rambling, so I guess that means we'll see you for some more animation tomorrow.